Hi, I'm Gerard Leone. I'm the creative director at Beenox, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit about Spider-Man After Time. Actually, in After Time, you'll be able to play both Amazing Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2099. There's an evil scientist from the 2099 timeline that goes back in time in order to rewrite history and destroy Amazing Spider-Man. So, Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099, witnesses that, and he now needs to contact Spider-Man before that in order to prevent him from dying.
Now, the gameplay jumps back and forth between 2099 and The Amazing Spider-Man, correct?
Yeah.
How much choice will you have in the order of level progression, such as like in Shattered Web? Like, will you be able to choose when you want to play as Spider-Man 2099 versus Amazing Spider-Man, or is the level structure more linear?
Actually, we wanted to build a real tight and intense storyline about time traveling, and it can be pretty much complex. If you want to go into a time traveling and making a choice and options, so we'd rather build something very strong with key plots that we're sure we're gonna get, and so the player won't be able to choose when exactly, but be sure that he will switch characters very often. In fact, it will change characters each time that is important to. So sometimes Miguel O'Hara in the past, for example, is really in trouble, and Amazing in the past have to change things in order to help Miguel in the future. And as soon as he's kind of helped Miguel, then it switched gameplay, and now you are now playing Miguel in order to go further on in the story.
Okay. So it'll change timelines like in the middle of a mission, if that is deemed fit, correct? Will it change timelines like in the middle of a level? So so that was the question. Like, there's no levels that are entirely dedicated to present day versus future, and it'll change when the story needs fit.
Exactly.
Okay. How much cause and effect is there going to be? Like, will you be able to see the effects right away of what Peter Parker is doing in the present?
Absolutely. In fact, we're using the picture-in-picture to allow the player, when he's playing Amazing, to see actually when he's changing something, how it affects Spider-Man 2099 in his timeline. When the player plays 2099 in his timeline, there's wall appearing, disappearing, and monsters coming out of nowhere because of what Amazing is doing in the past. And you can actually see that also in a picture-in-picture. We have thousands of different causes and effect gameplay like this. So you have that during the whole game. This is really something we wanted to build in the game. That notion that what you are doing is impacting someone else, or you have things all around you that can change any time because of what is doing someone in the past.
Okay. Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions had large levels, but ultimately they were kind of confined experiences. How do the environments stack up in Edge of Time? Are there larger environments, or are the environments more expansive than they were in Shattered Dimensions?
Okay, the story takes place in a building called Alchemax. Okay. This is where Miguel O'Hara used to work. It's a huge building. You have an hydroponic jungle somewhere inside the building. So it's really a huge building. And we needed the story to take place at the same place for both of them. So when physically one is changing something, it really affects the other one. But this place is huge. It's almost like a city in the building.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about the multiplayer aspects of the game?
As I mentioned, we wanted really to build a strong narrative experience, so there won't be anything like a multiplayer, but mostly that single player strong experience.
Okay. Have you guys done anything to the locomotion system of web swinging or anything like that in this one, or is it the same from the last game?
Well, we've been working on the Wii with all the moves that the Wiimote can express. That was pretty interesting from a Spider-Man point of view, you know. And we've been also working on the 3DS with the 3D notion, especially when you are doing a free-fall experience with 2099. This is just crazy with the 3D. It's really awesome.
Are there any plans to, I mean, I know the game is still a couple of months away from release, but as of right now, are there any plans to extend the shelf life of the game with any sort of DLC?
We are we're having very good hope to present some DLC content. The game will be on stage on October the 4th.
Okay.
And yeah, we're looking forward bringing some stuff from the DLC.
Okay. The game is coming out, only a year after the last Spider-Man title. Is it continuing that storyline, or is this a completely standalone experience?
Actually, no. We started working on Edge of Time while we were working on Shattered Dimension. We had all those Spider-Mans, and we decided to make Shattered Dimension with 4 Dimension, but at the same time, we started having ideas of just taking 2 of them and trying to build a time travel story that would have been way too complex with 4 Spider-Man. And anyway, they are in different dimensions. They're not all on the same timeline universe. But Spider-Man, Amazing, and Miguel O'Hara share the same timeline. So we approached Peter David, which is the author of Spider-Man 2099, and I've asked him if he wanted to work with me on the game, and he accepted. So he came in the studio for a week, we locked ourselves, and we just talked about everything, about the story, about the gameplay, and this is where it all started.
Okay. In Shattered Dimensions, there was a nice nod to Peter Porker, the spectacular Spider-Ham. Can we expect to see any nice Easter eggs for the hardcore fans?
You know what? You can expect a lot of cameos, a lot of eye blinks. We've been putting this everywhere. In fact, the whole building, Alchemax, is a very good place to put all those ingredients in the game because there's a lot of experiments going in Alchemax, and I'm sure that all the fans will very appreciate what we've done in terms of cameo there.
Great. Well, thank you very much for answering our questions. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.